CRT is not an honest dialogue. It is a tactic that was used by Hitler and the Ku Klux Klan on slavery very many years ago to dumb down my ancestors so we could not think for ourselves. CRT is racist. It is abusive. It discriminates against one's color. Let me educate you. An honest dialogue does not oppress. An honest dialogue does not implement hatred or injustice. It's to communicate without deceiving people. Today, we don't need your agreement. We want action and a backbone for what we asked for today, to ban CRT. We don't want your political advertisement to divide our children or belittle them. Think twice before you indoctrinate such racist theories. You cannot tell me what is or is not racist. Look at me. I had to come down here today to tell you to your face that we are coming together and we are strong. This will not be the last. Greet and meet respectfully.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Meat Puppet. I'm trying to understand critical race theory, and it can be quite messed up if I have to be honest, you know? So,
man, you have to explain to me why. What I will tell you is that critical race theory is a theory that actually emerged out of critical legal studies. It is a theory that makes an attempt to understand the law through the lens of race, and it's founded on some fundamental presumptions. One is the intractability of race and racism, meaning that it's an intractable problem in America, and that we have to use the lens of race to make sense of things.
I had no idea what it is. All I know, a lot of people say it might be racist or whatever, so I'm going to try to watch a few videos and see some points which people are making to make my own assumption.
For those of us who are not black men, imagine watching the news and seeing how people who look like you are portrayed. Imagine seeing men who look like you executed by police, arrested in impossibly high numbers, and seeing the entire political system of our nation fighting to keep it that way.
I've never been in a situation that I had to explain to any cop that why I'm high, speeding, or drunk. I've never put myself in a position that I had to explain to the cops why I was drunk, smoking, or doing anything they might consider illegal. I was stopped by a cop at midnight asking me, why are you walking here? We are looking for somebody. I says, I don't know, man. I just live here. I'm a student. And I was let go immediately. I was always calm, chill, and I've never been in any issue. And guess what? Once I was even arrested in front of my father. And the reason they arrested me is because I tried to cross between a school as a shortcut. What I did not know, at the same time, some kids were robbing the school with some machete. So when they arrested me, they told me, what do you want? Do you want to go to the prison or you want me to beat you up? I just kept my mouth quiet. I says, I don't know. And they arrested me. And my father saw it and he just drove off. When I met him again at home, he just told me, look man, if you put yourself in that position, I don't care. Do not put yourself in that position ever again, because I can't help you if I tell you to not do something and you do it. You're gonna go to prison and they're gonna have fun with your butt.
Think about really what effect that would have on you, about how you felt about this country and your participation in its institutions.
I can see they are black, but I don't identify with them because I've never done those stuff like them.
It's a centuries old problem, but we can't be centuries old in the solution. We need to fix it now. We need to stop the efforts to make it harder for people of color to vote. We need to fix what is broke in America.
Imagine being a black man and being told by some white lady with a microphone that you and the criminal on TV are one and the same because you look alike. Imagine being told by society that white people can be all that they can be, but you as a black man, the content of your character is completely irrelevant. You are the color of your skin and that is all you will ever be. Imagine being told you can't figure out how to vote because of the color of your skin. Socioeconomics affects everyone, but apparently you're not as smart as the poorest white person. Lady, I don't want to hate you. I'm a 90s kid. I grew up with you. So I know you're very talented. I understand your heart is in the right place, but you are everything you preach against. You're not helping. You're making things worse. You're causing more division. You're causing more fear. Statistically speaking, I am more likely to be shot and killed by my black elderly neighbor across the street than the cop who patrols my neighborhood. Statistically speaking, homicide by cop is very rare, but people like you find power in fear, so you keep it front page news. You don't have to be a white supremacist. You can be better.
I was stopped once in an airport with a very simple shirt, as if I was going to the Caribbean, like Van Diesel, the way the white shirts he keeps wearing. And the people say, why are you so nervous? I says, dude, I haven't been to my native island for 6 years. I'm freaking happy. I'm gonna see my family. The people started laughing and they just let me go with my head super gangster dress. It was how I project myself.
Have you heard about critical race theory? I'm guessing you probably have. It has already insinuated itself into many institutions and is making rapid progress into others. Critical race theory holds that the most important thing about you is your race. The color of your skin, that's who you are. Not your behavior, not your values, not your environment. Your race.
So that would mean my son is white. Okay.
In critical race theory, if you are a member of a minoritized racial group, their term, not mine, you are a victim of a system that is rigged against you, a system that doesn't want you to succeed. On the other hand, if your race is privileged, you're an exploiter, whether you intend to be or not. Critical race theory begins from the assumption that racism occurs in all interactions. To see how this works, consider this thought experiment.
The head of Riverdale Country Day School, Thomas Taylor, writes about how his school is going to be turned over to this kind of ideology. And if parents don't understand it, fuck them. Now, of course, he puts it more gently than that. But his point is, for parents who don't understand this, we simply cannot listen because what we're doing is of paramount importance. There's no argument to be had. That kind of resistance is something that we simply cannot countenance. And so what he really means is the parents can take their kids elsewhere. That shows you the power of this at this point, that someone like him could feel confident spelling that out for the public.
Everybody doesn't trust the unknown. So if you put people always in a position they are around things they don't feel known and something bad happens, of course, hey, it's gonna be gangster. When all my white friends go drink at a party, but they don't want to walk alone home because they always get robbed, is that racism in Barcelona? I don't know. I know the type of people they're looking out for. Is that racism? I don't know. I do believe racism exists in everything, but that's human nature, to assume something by the experience that you have been experiencing.
Imagine you own a shop and two customers enter at the same time, one white and one black. Who do you help first?
Depends the one that I want to keep talking to after the shop. Usually it's let me help you first. It's my friend. I want to have a good chat with him. Life is Gucci, right?
If you help the black person first, critical race theory would say you did so because you don't trust black people to be left alone in your store. That's racist.
Okay.
If you help the white person first instead, critical race theory would say you did so because you think blacks are second-class citizens.
Okay, this is bullcrap. This is something I always hated. What do I mean by that? If you give me two options and any option I choose is gonna be wrong, that's a big problem. If this critical race theory is actually that, it's very, very bad.
That's critical race theory. It can find racism in anything, even if it has to read your mind to do it. Critical race...
Oh, he has to read your mind? As if I didn't have to read a woman's mind that I wanted to date? Come on, people. Are you gonna make it that hard?
This theory is a uniquely American invention. Here it is in the words of Richard Delgado and Gene Stefanchik, two leading proponents. Critical race theory questions the very foundations of the liberal order, including equality theory, legal reasoning, Enlightenment rationalism, and the neutral principles of constitutional law. It does this because critical race theory proponents assume racism is present everywhere and always, and they look for it critically until they find it.
But what are you gonna do to solve it? Because if you're gonna find it, of course, hey, they're paying you to find it, right? You're gonna find it. If you wanna find ice cream in a hamburger, trust me, you're gonna find it.
They always find it. It has to be there because that's how the imperial European powers and then America set things up.
I mean, in my experience, yes, I do believe that back in the day, things have been quite gangster, right? I'm not saying it's wrong. That we have had this situation. People didn't trust me. For example, I remember I was calling like a place to get like money advice because I was very bad with my money when I went to study in Holland. And I noticed a lot of bad jokes from the Dutch people against the people from my country, and I never liked it. But I noticed the more I focus on that thing, the worse it got. The less people, even my own people, helped me with it. Or they were like, yeah, or just be like us. And I was like, no, I don't want to be like you. I want to be myself. I just want to go through the system, but I want to find the loophole, because if certain black people can just slither through, why are they slithering through and living a comfortable life? Not as good supposedly as the white, but better than me. because I noticed in Holland people judge me on the way I dressed. And it was like, do they hate my clothes? Or do I look like a very poor person that they can't count on? And it made me think a little. And I think I've told this story once, that was the day that racism actually bada-boom out of my head, right? It was, I went to a bank, I asked them for money, the bank said no, we are not gonna give you money, and I asked them, yeah, but I need it for my study, but you tell the whole story, the empathy story, and for damn, in your face. Dutch people don't like that, because Dutch people like people that have their lives under control, not people that don't. It's kind of unfair because most of them have their lives fixed. So if you're a culture where many people have baby daddies and all those stuff and you come with your stories, hey, they're not gonna trust you. Wait, baby daddy, baby mama, who? But anyway, I didn't have that issue. I didn't have any babies. Just the way that I represent myself, it backfired. So I went back, complained to somebody, and this person told me, this is not racism, you're a dumb person. I said, what do you mean, bro? He says, look, man, if you go in a business, a bank, a Dutch bank, you have to ask something the way Dutch people understand. You don't have to be Dutch, but you need to convince them. Just like them, they don't owe you anything. You have to sell yourself in a way that you can get money to lend from the bank. Just go back, ask for money like a Dutch person. Don't explain yourself. Dutch people don't explain themselves. It's like, yo man, I don't need to explain to you. I don't owe you shit. So just go there, ask them. And I went there, asked for the money, bada beam. And that's when the moment something clicked in my head. That it was like, yes, there's always like a weird hypocrisy. Or everything is racist. But then when I tell my individual story, no, that's not possible. Because you're an exception. And what do you mean I'm an exception? Everybody that abides by my rule, or all my friends in my circle, they don't have this issue. They are growing and booming right now. And critical race theory, if it is that what they're saying, that whatever choice they choose, you're gonna give my son a victim mentality, I'm like, nah man, I don't want that. My son is freaking white. I need to let my son be taught these weird racist stuff that it's always built in, and they start victimizing themselves, and they still go to a school where you have to be responsible for all your mistakes. Does that make any sense? Look at this.
His school is going to be turned over, he would read in a journal of criminology, go figure, but the head of Riverdale Country Day School, Thomas Taylor, writes about how his school is going to be turned over to this kind of ideology, and if parents don't understand it, fuck them. Now, of course, he puts it more gently than that. But his point is, for parents who don't understand this, we simply cannot listen because what we're doing is of paramount importance. There's no argument to be had. That kind of resistance is something that we simply cannot countenance. And so what he really means is the parents can take their kids elsewhere. That shows you the power of this at this point, that someone like him could feel confident spelling that out for the public. I'm not sure what public he was writing for there, but I'm sure he would say it in public, for the public to take in.
The people who are teaching their kids to love this country and to be accountable for your actions, they are succeeding. You are succeeding. I'm succeeding. When you look at this stuff, if you teach your kids to be a victim their entire life, they will be the bums walking around with no job, being a permanent activist. They're not going to own businesses. They're not going to make it up the corporate ladder. Nobody's going to hire these people. I will never hire somebody that's sitting around making excuses. When I hire people, I do interviews and I talk to them. What value do you bring to the table? If you say something stupid like systemic racism or something, I will never hire you. This is a complete lie. And the reason why they say it's systemic is because they never plan to fix it.
If you don't believe what they're saying, which immigrant family is the most successful family at this moment? Nigerian. How do Nigerians live? Very family structured. Focus on your study. Don't care what people say. Listen to me. Life is good. That's it. I've taught different people in Holland. They're like, yeah, but the Dutch people are so racist. They don't have emotions. As you're not supposed to show emotions. You're in a Dutch country. You have to do things that the country might accept as normal. So with time, it will change. But if you are in the past, you would have to act more Dutch than now. Because now, for some reason, now that I understand the whole racism thing and how I have to sell myself, how I have to talk and how I have to represent, I know the art. I don't have problem with nobody. Asian, Moroccan, black, not black, Hindu, everything. Super white, super black, super green, super purple, super yellow, everything. It's a mix and everybody's like, man, your kids are so respectful. That's what I keep hearing from all of them because it's a quality that shows the most in me. What is your quality that shows the most to all the other cultures? You are responsible for that in the culture that you're living, and you need to identify what they respect. You cannot look for everything that somebody finds. You know what? I don't think you play Street Fighter well. You're racist because I played with DJ. Kiss my ass, bruh.
I'm talking about telling young black kids that you are not going to be able to succeed because everything around you is racist. That's immoral. It actually gives people reason to not maybe try as hard.
I wonder how the white kids feel when they listen to this at a very young age. Won't they with time start believing? So you're telling me that I'm better, but I always have to look down and look at them as a savior? But then again, your ideology says you do not want white savior. So it's like white people that adopt a black kid are even getting questioned for that situation. So I'm like, I hate it whenever I make a decision that is right for your ideology, I still have to defend myself. Imagine this thing, they teach it to my kid and my kid is white and my kid's like, oh, Papa, I guess I'm better than you.
For me, I actually think skin color is kind of irrelevant. I think skin color is kind of a distraction. I think that we're actually a lot more complex than the melanin content in our skin. I think we're actually a more decent country and a more decent people when we stop fixating on skin color and start talking about character. If only someone talked about that in our country 50 years ago. So they believe that there are no individuals.
That is something that I always have to try to teach people on Discord sometimes, because I'm like, you guys talk so much about that stuff, you guys are still stuck in it. If you go to my native island, you're gonna see a mixture of culture and the racism is totally different. I'm not saying it ain't there, but against specific poor people, yes, I see it. But hey, I don't respect people that are poor and they're not trying to get out of it when they see the opportunity. I don't like lazy people that complain about rich people but they don't do anything about it. Because I know a bunch of poor people from that same country, trust me, they study and they're entrepreneur making a bunch of money in Holland like a boss, right? It's all about the effort and the consistency, never giving up when something goes bad a little. They work hard. That's something that I notice also that poor people don't understand. They don't see how hard certain rich people see. They just see the end product. You have no freaking idea. And now you want to create an ideology why you're stuck there? Because they worked hard but you didn't see it? Kiss my hi.
Anti-racism, as currently configured, has gone a long way from what used to be considered intelligent and sincere civil rights activism. Today, it's a religion, and I don't mean that as a rhetorical feint. I mean that it actually is what any naive anthropologist would recognize as a faith.
Aristotle said that we are the speaking beings. There's only two ways to govern people, two ways. You can be by talking and convincing and persuasion, or by force. This is another part of critical race theory. They don't believe in free speech at all. Sound familiar now? They don't want people talking. Because when people that are talking like a black woman and a white male, all of a sudden we kind of come to a place of nuance and maybe agreement, like, oh, you're a human being, it's awesome. Maybe I really like you. When you don't talk, all of a sudden, then the worst impulses of your sinful behavior bubble to the surface. Speech is all we have to get those kind of ideas or differences or sin that we might have away from you.
I've been taught so many wrong things by TV or whatever I read or even any game I play. But whenever I met somebody in Barcelona, very multicultural place, either Asian, which sometimes I was racist, Arab, Muslim, I was racist. Specific Dutch people, I was racist. Specific privileged American, I was racist. I taught the ID. I didn't express it, but I had to sit with them on a one-on-one dialogue, getting their own opinion, telling them my story, they can see it, they digest it and give my opinion. And the more I do that, the more I can empathize them, and the next experience, it's different. But you want this group thing with a bunch of people screaming? No, that doesn't work. You need to do it. You need to change your heart on a one-by-one situation. No wonder a bunch of people, when they're in a long-lasting relationship, they don't do it with a bunch of group friends. They do it in a one-on-one, and usually that group of friends, they actually tell them, hey guys, disperse, because you don't fit in this one-on-one engagement I have with my couple, because you guys don't understand that. I don't like group mentality. I like individual people that think the same. And let me critically think about the situation. Give me time to digest the thing. I don't want people to judge me by the content of my skin. Because every country I go to, if it's hot or warm, I change my skin color. And now I have to be worried. In Holland, I'm super light brown. And Curacao, I'm super black. So whenever I change a country, I have to be careful what people might think about me. Nah, man. I'm sure I can handle people in a way they're gonna judge my content from the inside. Whenever the first impression, they say something stupid, I don't lose character. I'm consistent. And I see it in their face, I'm like, he's not reacting how I thought he would. Maybe I'm a dick. Maybe you will like this video, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Butta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam, turloqueta, verdetta, welcome.